Thank you. Thank you. How many here remember their kindergarten teacher's name? Oh, that's so good of you. You must have learned that in kindergarten, raising your hand. That's actually very good. Now, my kindergarten teacher, Miss B. Miss B was sweet. She was kind. She was very loving. And she was just trying to make all 28 of us calm for 8 hours a day, because that's how long school was way back then, how old I am. But Miss B, her and I, we had a little love, and I don't want to say that other word, but let's put it this way. My personality was the reason why I didn't continue teaching. I taught 1 year, littles in kindergarten, all the way up to seniors at Cornerstone Christian School on the 15. And I only made it 1 year because of people like me. In kindergarten, I would raise my hand. Miss B would say, okay, who can do this mathematical question? I'd be like, yes, 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 I got it. And she would look around the room and she would say, Andrew, come on up. And I'd be like, and then she'd say, all right, I've got another question. And she would look around the room and she'd, Stacy, come on up. And I was like, oh, I got passed over again. So when she said, what's 20 times 2? I was like, ooh, 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 ooh. And I did not wait. I ran to the front of the room and I said, 40. And Miss B, in her very sweet, kind, loving way, did not scold me, because remember, she's trying to keep the peace. She said to me, thank you, Tiffany, that's so nice. So in one way, I actually thought I was teaching Miss B how to be a teacher for me, because I actually was called on a lot more. And I use that in life today. If I don't have my hand raised and I'm not getting called on in life, I am absolutely going to run to the front and make my own path. And I had to unlearn that because I'm not good at raising my hand. Ask the Women's Council of Realtors. I'm on the board and they don't like it because I don't raise my hand. But I definitely know there's a place and a time. But that is just one of the skills that I have learned, that it is okay in kindergarten to run forward and be at the front and say who you are. Number 2. Now, as you know, I'm writing a book, Everything I Didn't Learn in Kindergarten. No, it's not a trash on kindergarten teachers, by the way. My grandmother, 35 years, and at her funeral, grandchildren were there to support her. Being a teacher is amazing, and I love that. So this is not that. It's also a great bookend to, if you've all heard of that book, Everything I Need to Know I Learned in Kindergarten. I like to say this is the other bookend to that. And you'll see why in number 2. Andrew, remember him? In the sandbox, Andrew was the bully. And Andrew didn't like my castles. No, Andrew didn't like any little girl's castles. So when it was recess, Andrew would take his sand and he would dump it all over my castle. I had 2 choices. I could run to Miss B, but every other little girl who ran to Miss B, she would say, oh, just go play on something else. We're almost done with recess. Just go. It's okay. That was not okay with me. I said, Andrew? Mm-mm. So, you know, just like everyone should do in the sandbox, I thought about it and I went like this. And I took all the sand over to my part of the sandbox and I built a bigger sandcastle. Because I was not going to let Andrew win. And Andrew was running back to Miss B. Tiffany took all my sand in the sandbox. Because every failure, every no, every negativity that comes up in life, you can have 2 choices. You can use it and whine and cry, but no one's going to save you. Or you can say, I'm taking it all to build my own empire. And I try to remember that fact of Andrew. And to this day, I can still see his face. But anyway, that's Andrew. Number 3. And the last one of my simple review is coloring within the lines. Now, Stacy was a good friend of mine, and we had our desks across from each other. And we had to share a crayon box. You remember these? And when our teacher told us, Miss B, she said, hey, remember, little girls and little boys, that you're going to be coloring within those lines. Well, I saw pictures differently. I saw that the picture was actually the thing that should be highlighted. And I colored outside of the pictures. That's how my mind worked. And Miss B liked it. But oh no, not Stacy. Stacy didn't like that. Oh no, Stacy said, you're not supposed to be coloring like that. That's not how you color. You color the little rabbits. And so she took my crayon and she broke it. Every time. And it stung. Then I said, Stacy, I'm just going to peel off the cover because broken crayons still color. So when my divorce happened and I was left alone and I thought I wouldn't be coloring again, I wish my husband was here actually to say this, 2 broken crayons make beautiful pictures. So if you're ever out there in life, raise your hand. But if someone doesn't call on you, run to the front and claim it who you are. And if you're thrown sand in the sandbox, say thank you and use that sand to build your empire. And I want you to remember, you're beautiful and broken crayons still color.
Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.